The biggest pro wrestling event of the entire year has finally arrived, and all eyes will be on Chicago, August 31st for All Elite Wrestling's All Out. Will Adam Hangman Page bring that cowboy shit into Chicago, or will Chris Jericho finally get his thank yous and become the first ever AEW World Heavyweight Champion? With Jon Moxley missing All Out, will PAC and Kenny Omega deliver in Chicago? Who will advance in the AEW Tag Team Title Tournament? Who will advance by winning the Casino Battle Royale for the Women's Championship? Will CM Punk show up in Chicago? Will Shawn Spears finally shut everybody up and show WWE exactly what they missed when he defeats Cody Rhodes in Chicago? All this plus so much more right here for AEW's All Out on Off the Script.
Delete! This is mine.
Alive with it. People still didn't. What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. I can't wait for AEW's All Out. The biggest pro wrestling show of the entire year is finally here, and I can't wait to see what AEW does to shut everybody up and silence all the naysayers as far as the hype goes, because this is not only the biggest show of the year, but it is a vital show for All Elite Wrestling before they get into their debut episode on TNT. It's going to be the foundation for what we are going to see on that night on October 2nd. I can't wait. I wanted to get this video up on Thursday, so I am still home in the office. I wanted to record this in the comfort of my own home before we get into Chicago, because it's going to be very busy. I'm going to be at Starcast all weekend, hopefully meeting you guys out there, hopefully having several cold beverages. Can't wait for Starcast and all the special events that they got going on out there. I will be with Ticket Drew, and I want to thank him for his support, because he has been an unbelievable support system for me. And with him and him teaming up with Off the Script, we sold out 2 luxury suites in the Sears Center for AEW All Out, man. It is unbelievable. I can't wait to get there and just relax and watch everything go down. It's going to be awesome. So it's going to be a very busy week, man. But I wanted to get all of the predictions and the last minute news that I have up for you guys before I actually fly out. So that's exactly what we're going to do today. 10 matches on this show. That is a lot. But this is the last show that AEW will have before their debut on TNT. So I'm not really too concerned with all of that. Storylines have to play out. Contenders for championships have to be in place. Championships have to be decided upon with the next major storyline for that championship. The AEW World title needs to be in place for TNT, as it will be defended on TV in the first couple of weeks. We got a lot going on, man. A lot is going on with AEW. We're going to go over all the storylines, and we're going to go over preview predictions, last minute news and rumors right here on the podcast, man. So thank you guys so very much for joining me. If you missed anything else that I uploaded this week, we got Raw. We got SmackDown. I'll be working on NXT live in Chicago from the hotel room, so the scenery will look different. I will not be in the office. So if you guys missed anything that I uploaded on the channel already, you guys can certainly check all that stuff out. It's live on the channel now, and I'm going to make it easy for you. I'm going to link you down in the comment section, and I'm going to pin that comment at the very top. Also, if you guys are into the video game side of things, I finally uploaded Super Mario Maker 2, a 1-hour live stream, a 1-hour premiere on YouTube. If you guys want to go check that out for some laughs and some entertaining rage as I rage through Mario Maker 2 and the levels that are in the story mode, you guys can certainly go check that out as well. I would greatly appreciate it. Follow me on social media, man, at JD from NY206. That is on Twitter and Instagram. hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. That is very important. And if you guys want to support the podcast via Patreon, patreon.com/JD206, you guys got this early access. You guys get all the audio versions of Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, and any extras that go up every single time I upload. So make sure you guys go and show some support on Patreon, patreon.com/JD206. And the podcast is brought to you guys today by my fine friends over at Audible. audibletrial.com/offthescript. Just for listening to the podcast today, you guys are going to get 30 days free of Audible service, and that includes one free audiobook of your choice. You have over 200,000 choices to choose from, and a lot of which are wrestling related, guys. So thank you for supporting Audible. audibletrial.com/offthescript. Get your 30 days, cash in on that free audiobook, and it's a great way to help support Off the Script. First things first, guys, the appetizer for the entire weekend, and it's going to span 3 days, 4 days actually, starting Thursday, because the press conference is on Thursday for this Labor Day weekend, is Starcast. The third rendition of Starcast, run by Conrad Thompson. Yes, it's in correlation with AEW. It is an AEW-sponsored event. There's no doubt about it. For those people wondering how they have done 3 of these things, it is funded by AEW. I would not be surprised if Tony Khan's name is on the bottom of the paycheck for running this entire event. But that is neither here or there. I am excited for Starcast. It's a little bit more simple this time around. It's not going to be too much. There's not a lot going on, but what they got, they went with the quality over quantity aspect for Starcast 3. So let's run over the event schedule. I will be there with Ticket Drew. I will have a cold beverage in my hand at every chance I got. And I can't wait to meet some of you guys out there. And I can't wait to be a part of the festivities here for Starcast 3. Now, the official All Out press conference and weigh-in. You guys could watch all of this on Fight TV. $39.99 if you guys want to go ahead and order the entire weekend of Starcast. The All Out press conference and weigh-in, that will be on Thursday, August 29th from 7 to 8 p.m. at the Hyatt Regency, Schaumburg in Chicago. And I was there for the press conference for Double or Nothing in Las Vegas. I sat next to MJF. He was wearing a disguise which I have in my closet. I took it home with me as a souvenir because he is going to be one of the biggest stars in all of wrestling. And if you don't believe me, I have to show you, being that I just mentioned it now. I have his wig, and I have his hat. So if you guys don't believe me, there you go. I got MJF's fucking smelly wig. I got MJF's smelly wig in my closet as a souvenir. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but Halloween's around the corner. Maybe I'll dress up as mock MJF at the Double or Nothing press conference. But the press conference for Double or Nothing was not all that exciting. I actually preferred the All In press conference last year in Chicago. I thought that was awesome. Hopefully they make a big deal out of it. Hopefully we see Chris Jericho hype his match with Adam Hangman Page. Hopefully we see Kenny Omega there, Shawn Spears and Cody. There's some big matches on this show. I would love to get a word with PAC. I would love to get a word with PAC, period. But I would love to have PAC at the press conference and actually address the audience about what he thinks of Jon Moxley being hurt and being in a match with Kenny Omega. They got to really go all out for the press conference because I think that they actually were very lazy with it for Double or Nothing. So that is on the 29th from 7 to 8 p.m. I will be there with Ticket Drew. Then we got From Undesirable to Undeniable. This is, I don't know who this is with. I think this is with Cody Rhodes. Born into wrestling royalty, the journey for Cody has not been an easy one. Tony Shivani is going to sit down, who just signed with AEW, by the way. We'll go over that and what his role is going to be moving on into TNT. He sits down with All Elite Wrestling Executive Vice President Cody to discuss the peaks and valleys of his career that led him to where he is today with All Elite Wrestling. That is happening on Thursday, right after the press conference. That's 8:30 to 10 p.m., so I might stick around for that as well. Then we got Starcast Karaoke with Tony Shivani. If that's your type of thing, that's happening right after the Cody Rhodes sit-down from 10:30 to 12 a.m. at the Hyatt Regency. So Thursday's going to be a busy day for Starcast. I am not one to sing, but if you guys were with me in Las Vegas, I sang Kid Rock with the Solid Monster, which he was not a very happy monster at the thought and the sight of me picking Bawa to Ba by Kid Rock as he wore the MJF wig. So there you go. Starcast video game tournament is Friday, August 30th. That is 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. And this is at the Schomburg. Everything's happening at the Schomburg, the Hyatt Regency. This is going to be hosted by Leva Bates. Test Your Skills, hosted by the librarian, Leva Bates. So if you guys are into that, that's happening at 9 a.m. Malenko, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. This is on Friday, August 30th. And this will be the very first time Dean Malenko takes the Starcast stage for this unfiltered, candid discussion about his career and his future. More than likely, he will be with AEW as an agent/producer. Paving the way with Medusa, 12 p.m. to 1:30. This is Medusa going over what Medusa, I guess, meant to women's wrestling, because she can't get enough of herself, and she needs to keep her name in the spotlight. Not something I'm really interested in, but if you guys are interested in that, Medusa is going to be there from 12 noon to 1:30 p.m. Something that I am interested in, the women of All Elite Wrestling. You're going to see Tony Shivani sit down with the women of AEW to discuss the impact women are having on the industry of professional wrestling in recent memory. And it's going to be taking place on the Pro Wrestling Tees main stage. And that you can see on Fight TV. Brandy's going to be there. Allie. You're going to see Britt Baker, Nyla Rose, maybe Kylie Ray. So we'll see what happens with that. Talent on the Rise. This is happening on Friday at 2 p.m. to 3:30. Nothing is really given here as far as a description goes, but that is happening at 2 o'clock. The Art of Wrestling with Colt Cabana, 2 p.m. That is on Friday, August 30th. Back by popular demand, The Art of Wrestling with Colt Cabana. I believe this is the last year he's actually doing the podcast as well. He's giving it up. It's been a staple Starcast every single time Starcast has come around. Colt welcomes a variety of guests for some laughs and stories of life on the road that is taking place on the Pro Wrestling Tees main stage. Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous with MJF. I don't think that needs any introduction whatsoever. I will be there because MJF is probably the best heel in all of wrestling today. That's happening at 4 p.m. in the Hyatt Regency. Marty and Sarah Love Wrestling. I don't know what this is. I never heard of them before, so that's happening at 4 p.m. I guess it's a podcast of some sort. GCW presents Secrets of Spring Break. If you guys want to know the inside scoop on Spring Break and how it got started, that is 6 p.m. to 7:30. I'm sure Joey Janela will be very present there in all his drunken glory. Wrestling with Stereotypes 2, that's happening at 6 p.m. on Friday. And that will be a discussion to, I guess, follow up on what happened at Starcast 2 in Vegas. So that is a podcast, I believe. A discussion on race, gender, and minority representation in pro wrestling. If that's your cup of tea, it's there, 6 p.m. to 7:30. Moxley was supposed to happen at 8 p.m., and I don't think that's happening anymore, being that Moxley, being that he is the biggest story coming out of this show, he will not be there. His match with Omega canceled. That is happening, or was supposed to happen, I should say, at 8 p.m. I don't know what they're replacing him with, so we'll probably find out when we get into Chicago. The Payoff Pod. This is a podcast happening on one of the main stages. Never heard of him before, but that's happening at 8 p.m. Cock of the Talk. Yes, let me repeat that. Cock of the Talk with Joey Ryan. That's happening at 10 p.m., and I guess that doesn't really need any description at all, but I'm going to read it to you anyway. The King of Dong Style takes the mic for the first time with his own show, Cock of the Talk. The only advice we can give you is to buckle up for fun-filled time with the man who is single-handedly bringing sleazy back, Joey Ryan. That's happening at Starcast. Starcast Improv happening at 10 p.m. August 30th. I guess it's stand-up comedy with everybody that is affiliated with Starcast. The DDPY All Out Workshop, if you guys want to do some DDP yoga, that's happening at 10 a.m. on August 31st. Tales of a Hardcore Legend with Mick Foley. That doesn't need any introduction whatsoever. And then the main event, clearly, the best in the world, CM Punk. That is happening on Saturday, August 31st at 12 p.m. to 1:30. And that is happening on the main stage, the Pro Wrestling Tees main stage. We do not know who is hosting this, but Conrad Thompson spoke of this on the media call with everybody affiliated with Starcast. I sat in on this conference call. He said whoever is going to be involved with hosting this CM Punk panel knows his shit, and everybody is going to be very excited to know who it is, man. And then obviously we have All Out happening on August 31st at 7 p.m. And if you guys want to do some after partying, you got Janela Palooza from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. That is happening in the hotel as well, sponsored by Blue Chew, featuring Tone Loc. So that is the schedule for Starcast 3. I will be at the majority of these events. Some of them I will not be at. Some of the time I will be at the bar. Some of the time I will be back in the hotel working on Off the Script. But I will be in and around the hotel all weekend. So hopefully I see you guys out there. Let's get into the news and rumors, man. I just seen this come across my feed. And AEW's plans for commentary. And the commentary team revealed. What is the commentary team going to be at All Out? Dave Meltzer talked about this on the Wrestling Observer Live, that a press release AEW sent out was a bit misleading. So let's go over this. It appeared by the press release that Tony Schiavone will be on the commentary table. But this is not the case, and they are narrowing down their decision about what team they will use at All Out and the team that they will be using going forward. He says this, and I quote, "The announced team and everything being worked out right now, things are in a state of limbo. The announced team that they're going with as far as the three guys doing the shows is Jim Ross, Golden Boy, and Excalibur. That was the team that was at Fyter Fest, and that's the team that I thought very highly of and I thought did a fantastic job at Fyter Fest. Tony Schiavone, who just signed on to be with AEW, and that is exciting news in itself because hearing his voice back on TNT is just going to be as great as hearing Jim Ross back at the commentary booth on cable television during a weekly syndicated wrestling show. Tony Schiavone even more so because he was the voice of WCW for so long on TNT, and to hear him back, and he's still great. You still get that unbelievable sense of nostalgia when you hear Tony Schiavone, if you guys are familiar with his work over at MLW. Tony Schiavone will not be at the pay-per-view, says Dave Meltzer, but he will be there on most Wednesdays because Schiavone has got a lot of things he's doing. University of Georgia football, he's doing MLW, he's doing other sports, he's doing the Gwinnett Stripers, which is the AAA team for the Atlanta Braves. He's got a lot of stuff going on. Schiavone will be doing a lot of producing as well. He will be doing on-air stuff. You know, maybe some backstage stuff. There will be times that he will do play-by-play. There may be times when they cycle people in and out. But the team that they are going with is the team from Fyter Fest, which I have no issue with at all. I mean, that's the mentality that they've got. Schiavone might sit in on the table doing commentary at certain times. Alex Marvez will be at the pay-per-view. He's going to be doing backstage stuff and maybe packages and things like that. So that's how it's all kind of working out right now, which is great. I don't want to sound like I'm watching the PGA Tour Championship while watching All Out. This is their biggest show. This is their biggest showcase, their last showcase before TNT. Alex Marvez brings the commentary team down. We don't need him there. He's not very good at what he does. He thrives in a interview role. He thrives in a backstage capacity. That's fine. You got to have your strengths where they are needed. Commentary, clearly Jim Ross cannot man a table by himself. That's why Excalibur is there. Golden Boy did a great job at manning the station, picking up for Jim Ross when he wasn't really all there. And then obviously he gelled well with Excalibur. So I think that's going to be fun. Getting Alex Marvez out of the commentary booth is a thumbs up in my eyes. Put him somewhere else where he can do good and not bring the commentary team down. So that is what they're going with right now for All Out. I'm excited about Tony Schiavone, man. I am excited to see and hear him on TNT weekly, and that's going to be a good thing. That nostalgia, hearing his voice, is going to be a possible, bringing in the lapsed fan type move. So I'm very excited about what he's doing, and I've watched some MLW here and there. I've heard Tony Shivani on MLW on YouTube, and I think it's a great move. And I'm very happy for him, and I know everybody is a big fan of Tony Shivani. And commentary, I can't even begin to tell you how important commentary is to me. I'm sure it's the same for everybody. They need to have their guys in place, because what we're going to be gravitated towards outside of the action is the commentary team. There needs to be a great presentation. I think they're going to do well on Saturday night, and they need to get all their situations squared away before they go to TNT. They need to have a set group in place. There cannot be a revolving door of guys in and out. You know, it's not a work in progress anymore. This is the time where it's a work in progress. This is where you get your trial and error out of the way. Once they get to TNT, you got to man down and get people in the positions that you want them in so people become familiar with them. So I'm loving it so far. I think that's a great move by AEW with the commentary team they got going on right now for Saturday nights. As far as what other news I got, let's go back to the Starcast thing. I was on the conference call with a bunch of other people. I didn't really say anything at all, but I listened in as I got the first glimpse as to where Conrad's head was at for Starcast. AEW's involvement in bringing in CM Punk to Starcast, and the reason why he will be in Chicago for Starcast 3. This is what Conrad Thompson said about CM Punk and his involvement with Starcast this summer. He says, and I quote, "I was looking for something that we could do for a banner event for Las Vegas and for Chicago at the same time, because I knew I would be doing both of these, and I sort of hung my hat on the roast of Ric Flair in Las Vegas, which we all know did not happen, and I wanted to have a rare appearance there, and I thought that The Undertaker would be that guy, and as we know, WWE pulled him, and they locked him into a lifetime guarantee where he will not be able to do anything outside of the WWE, so he went over that as well. And they wanted The Undertaker. He says WWE pulled him, so I felt like I needed to do something that was bulletproof and something that nobody saw coming, and kind of among the wrestler convention type of things and being a promoter, you know, CM Punk was out there and he was the white whale that was sort of just hanging out there, not really doing much of anything. I got his email address and we exchanged emails over the course of several months, and then after seemingly like no deal was going to come together, very quickly one did, and we were all thrilled that CM Punk is dusting off the microphone and joining us for Starcast. So I think him being involved in anything wrestling related has got people super, super interested in Starcast, and we are all very excited about it. End quote. Now, Conrad is in charge of Starcast. We all know that he's been in charge of 1, 2, and 3. After all, WWE did sign 2 of his podcast hosts, one being Bruce Pritchard, who's the right-hand man of Vince McMahon, and then Eric Bischoff, which still to this day, we don't know what his role is in WWE. Executive Director of SmackDown Live Creative, we don't really know. All we know is that he's there. We don't know how much input Eric Bischoff has on SmackDown Live at all. Conrad Thompson made it very clear during the Q&A for Starcast 3 on the media call that booking CM Punk for the convention had nothing to do with AEW. In fact, Conrad went on to say that the addition of CM Punk at Starcast does not mean at all that he's going to be at All Out. Now, clearly, this could be a red herring. This could be Conrad clearly saying, you know, listen, he's not going to be at All Out. I think if anybody is expecting him to be at All Out, then you're going to be very, very disappointed. Nobody expects Conrad to come out and say, yeah, well, CM Punk's going to be at All Out. What do you expect him to say? If there's an ace in the hole, if there is a major surprise, and I know I have to guarantee, somewhat guarantee, that AEW has a surprise like they did Jon Moxley in Las Vegas. They have to have a surprise for this show. They cannot go off the air by just, ho-hum, we crowned a new world champion, ho-hum, we got Shawn Spears versus Cody Rhodes, ho-hum, we got a ladder match with the Lucha Brothers and the Young Bucks. There has to be a major surprise. There has to be a cliffhanger to take you into TNT on October 2nd. Whether that's CM Punk or not, I don't know. But I know that if I'm AEW, if I'm thinking the way that they're thinking, or if they're thinking the way that I'm thinking, that there's going to be a surprise there. There has to be. Now, whether that's Punk or not, that remains to be seen. I put it out there in the universe. I've been saying this for months. And now I could be completely dead wrong on this, but I am making a prediction that CM Punk will be at All Out. I don't know what his contract status is as far as UFC goes. I know he loves doing MMA commentary, and good for him. He's found his thing. And I think he's great at it. But if I am to make a prediction on him being in the Sears Center on August 31st at some point between 7 p.m. and 11 p.m., I do think he will be there. It's going to be exciting. And if he is, not only will the internet break, not only will Vince McMahon shit his pants, but the Sears Center will come caving down. Because that arena is actually going to implode. It's going to be unbelievable. So, he says this, and I quote, does Conrad, I want to clarify, this was not a piggyback booking. I did not book CM Punk through AEW. He's not going to be at All Out. If anyone has that expectation, they are going to be very disappointed because that's not how my booking happened. That being said, I'm sure any wrestling company would love to have a conversation with him about joining their company. There it is. There's the in, right there. I'm sure any company would love to sit down with CM Punk and have him join their promotion. So, he says that's not specific to AEW and WWE. I'm sure Ring of Honor and New Japan and every other promotion, MLW, Impact, would love to have CM Punk. He's in a good spot where he gets to call his next shot, whether that's in or out of wrestling, and I would suspect that would be the main question that everyone wants to know is, what is next for CM Punk? Now, I didn't really get the vibe that Conrad was bullshitting anybody. He mainly wanted to keep it Starcast related, but the question was raised, clearly, about CM Punk. He did sound like he did not know whether CM Punk would be, just at Starcast, or if he would be at Starcast and then step back into the ring. Punk, I do believe, is still under UFC contract, so that might get in the way, but I don't really think that anybody really knows his UFC status. I don't know when his contract's up. Nobody knows when his contract's up. It could be up this year. He could make an appearance and then show up in October for TNT. Nobody knows. But that is the biggest question going into this. Will CM Punk show up in Chicago? And I honestly think if he doesn't show up and we get a whole all-out show without CM Punk or any involvement from CM Punk, I think we can put it to rest that CM Punk and the rumors should just die. And nobody should mention Phil Brooks and his involvement with pro wrestling ever again. And just wait for it to happen if it does happen. If he doesn't show up in Chicago, I think we could just dead it all. I don't want to hear another CM Punk rumor again. And if he does show up, God bless everybody, because it's going to be amazing. So that is the biggest thing going into Chicago outside of Jon Moxley. You guys know my thoughts on Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley contracted MRSA, which is a staph infection. Dave Meltzer went into great detail about this on the Wrestling Observer Live. Moxley just competed in a brutal G1 Climax tournament overseas. He says this, and I quote, Moxley's got MRSA in his left elbow, which he picked up in Japan, and that's nothing to mess with. They say 4 weeks, and then he'll be okay. He'll be ready to wrestle on the first AEW television show on TNT. The Kenny Omega-Moxley match will likely be on their next pay-per-view, which I'm assuming, if I was a betting man, that we will get one more pay-per-view before the end of the year. Whether that's in November or December, I think we will get one towards the end of the year. It could be on pay-per-view or WWE. AEW, this is where my head's at. WWE, I'm sure, had the voodoo doll in this show, and this is why all of this happened, but I hope that he gets better. And I mentioned Jon Moxley being out could be looked at as a blessing in disguise. It could actually work towards AEW's advantage, because I don't know what they had planned for Moxley on his debut night on TNT. I don't know what they had planned for Kenny Omega on TNT. But now they have something in which they could build this match, which they're doing a fantastic job of in Moxley's absence. This could work to their benefit. So if it's not happening at the pay-per-view and we're getting PAC versus Omega, nobody's going to complain about that. This match could easily main event a TNT show on Wednesday and really give AEW the fuel that they need in this war with WWE on Wednesday night. I don't have any problem with this at all. All I want is Moxley to get 100% healthy and be back giving his talents to AEW. That's all we want. So I think this is actually going to work out better for AEW. I would do it on TV and not wait for the pay-per-view. That's what I would do. And if they need to have a match on the Wednesday night show, they could certainly always go back and revisit this again on pay-per-view. So that's not out of the realm of possibility either. I don't know what their decision will be, but they're definitely going to be doing Kenny Omega and Moxley, very shortly after he's back. And clearly that's where they're going with this because Kenny Omega cut a fantastic promo. Rollins, you should take note, bro. You should take note because Kenny Omega is clearly the best at what he's doing. He's the best wrestler in the world. And Kenny Omega cut a promo that Seth Rollins wishes he could cut. This is a championship-like promo, folks. Kenny Omega was set to talk about Jon Moxley and get ready for his match against Moxley at All Out. Then, in very work-shoot-like fashion, this is why I love AEW and their promo ability so much, man. I love the way that they film these promos. They had the producer come on in and let Kenny know right then and there that Moxley was hurt. He was going to be out. He's got a staph infection. Omega was asking, where did you hear this information from? Nobody told me. I just got the word from Cody. He had the microphone all on. He was ready to go. And he took a drink of water, did Omega. And he's like, no, we got the cameras rolling. Dim the lights. Let me go at it. I'm going to go in a different direction here. He's out. Let me talk about it. And I love the continuity of the promo that Omega cut. Because it not only played off everything that happened to Double or Nothing, but it went into his injury. And Kenny Omega actually said, listen, you defied the wrestling gods. You left wherever you came from. You wanted to come on in and be a rebel. You didn't give a shit about anything. You didn't give a shit about AEW. You didn't give a shit about any of the management here at AEW. You just came on in wanting to do what you wanted to do. You threw me off a stack of poker chips. Then you went over to Japan and you got yourself injured. What did you do? You went over to Japan to compete in 24 days of a G1 climax. Did you win? No, of course not. But I'll tell you what, I won my first time out. I have the t-shirt to prove it, Kenny Omega says. And then he goes on to say, poor little Moxley, he got himself an elbow injury. And he couldn't give a shit at all if Moxley comes back at all to AEW. And it was just a great promo, And I love the continuity that they're continuing this in light of Moxley's injury. This is what you call Pro Wrestling 101, folks. They make a negative situation into a positive one. This is going to work out fine for AEW. They did not worry. They didn't show anybody that they were worried about Moxley's injury. They got PAC, and we're going to get this great dream match of Moxley and Omega on TNT more than likely. It's going to work out better for everybody. Jon Moxley's elbow will heal up. He will miss All Out. But as of right now, TNT is my honest opinion of where this match should be. And his Starcast appearance, like I mentioned, nobody knows if that is actually happening because Moxley did put out a statement on Twitter. He said he will be watching at home in Vegas and he will be watching as a fan while he heals up. So he probably will not be at Starcast, and you guys will probably find out via social media what they're going to replace Moxley's stage appearance with. Now, as far as Moxley, PAC is replacing Moxley against Omega. There was a report that PAC was always in the plans for All Out. Then there was a debunking of a report that PAC was never supposed to be a part of All Out. Now, Meltzer reported that AEW had plans for PAC to be in Chicago anyway, in a non-wrestling capacity. So he actually corrected himself. He had to go on Wrestling Observer Live and correct himself because PAC's booking was totally a new direction that was not ever in the plans for All Out. Meltzer said on Wrestling Observer Radio that AEW will likely blow one of their big surprises at All Out with the booking of PAC. They were going to shock fans with the bastard PAC showing up, but now he's promoted in advance. This is what he originally stated. I'm pretty sure PAC was going to be at the show anyway doing a surprise run-in, so it does hurt that surprise element. I don't know if that was going to be the only surprise, hint, hint, but I was under the impression that he was going to be the big surprise, PAC. So it kind of hurts that because you don't have that big surprise, but you look, at this injury and you got to do what you got to do. I think it's pretty suitable right now as far as a replacement goes. I said Pac was going to be in Chicago anyway. This is what he said on a later edition of the Observer Live. That's what he originally stated, that Pac was going to be the surprise, then he came out and corrected himself. I said Pac was going to be in Chicago anyway. I was wrong about that. Pac was not booked in Chicago to be on that show. As far as what he did, it was a booking they made after they found out about Moxley, so they moved real quick, and it wasn't long before they got him and Omega signed to do the match at All Out. Either way, Pac accepted this offer to appear at All Out and wrestle Omega. It's a great replacement. This was in the original plans anyway, while Pac was wrestling for Dragon Gate and he was a champion over there. They wanted this match to happen in Vegas. Clearly that couldn't happen because Pac was a champion for Dragon Gate and they didn't want him losing as far as him being a champion for their promotion. So, there was a little creative indifference there from both companies. I'm sure Pac would have done anything that AEW wanted. He wants to work with AEW. Again, this is going to be better for everybody. Pac is going to be on a national stage with all eyes on Chicago. He's going to be back on American soil doing what he does best for the first time since he left WWE on a major spotlight stage like this. Kenny Omega is going to have one of the best matches of the year with somebody who was on equal level to him. And they're going to tear the house down. They're going to break the internet. Everybody's going to go crazy for this thing. And then you get Moxley and Omega on TNT. So it works out better for everybody in the end. AEW should consider themselves fortunate and lucky that they were able to get Pac in this thing to go against Omega. Now, it does make the match with Omega a little bit predictable. Because I don't think anybody thinks Pac is going to win against Omega. Omega needs to generate some wins for himself. And I honestly think that, yes, it is predictable. It's not going to really take away anything from the match because I can't wait to see what these two guys come up with as far as match psychology and what they do for 25 minutes in that ring. It's going to be literally one of the best matches of the entire year. Can't wait to see what they do. But Pac, it was reported that he was supposed to be in Chicago as one of the big surprises. Then they blew the big surprise because they had to remove him from that surprise element, put him in the match with Omega. One has to wonder now what their surprise is going to be. And I know if I'm a betting man, I'm guaranteeing there's some kind of surprise for AEW at All Out. There has to be. There has to be. I don't think they're going into this thing just, like I said, ho-hum. We're going to crown a new world champion and then that's it. Something is going to happen at the end of the show or something is going to happen in the show at some point that is going to be of a major surprise leading into TNT. Chris Jericho. He's in the main event of this show. He says AEW will build a bigger star than WWE has in 6 months. Whether that's Adam Hangman Page, his opponent for the AEW World Championship, or somebody else. He is predicting that AEW will have a bigger star coming out of All Out than WWE has created in 6 months. So he says on Busted Open Radio with Bully Ray and Dave LaGreca, he spoke to them where he discussed his upcoming match against Adam Hangman Page. He said that All Out will be Page's coming out party because everyone will know he's a star after August 31st. There you go. He's talking about Adam Hangman Page. But more than Adam Hangman Page could come out of this thing being a star. He says this, and I quote, "He looks like $1 million. He wrestles great. His promos are getting better." And he cut a great promo when he made a surprise appearance at the House of Glory show in August. He cut a great promo talking about Cowboy Shit. He addressed Chris Jericho. It was awesome. I was so much in shock that he was there because I didn't know he was there. And I was kind of fanboying on commentary because I didn't know what to say. I was silent for the most part outside the call of the run-in. And I wanted to listen to what he said. And he cut a great promo in front of the New York crowd. Looks like $1 million. He wrestles great. His promos are getting better. How do you make him a star? You put him in the ring with Chris Jericho. How do you make him a bigger star? You put him in the ring with Chris Jericho in a match for the first AEW World Heavyweight Championship. This is Hangman Page's coronation. This is his coming out party. I'm really excited about it. I've seen enough of him that I know this is the type of guy that we want on our roster, and we're going to build him into a bigger star in one night than WWE has built any star they've had in 6 months. Is he wrong? No. Because nobody on WWE's television shows feels like a star. And that is sad to even say. Because look at the amount of talent that they called up from NXT in the last 6 months. Does Ricochet feel like a bigger star being on the main roster? Absolutely not. Does Aleister Black feel like a bigger star coming up from NXT and joining the main roster? Absolutely not. Look at Andrade. Look at Mustafa Ali. Look at Buddy Murphy. Look at the talent that they fucking wasted on this roster. Even Becky Lynch coming out of WrestleMania doesn't feel nearly as big after she won the Women's Championship from Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania. Is he wrong? The answer is no. I do believe Chris Jericho is going to make Adam Hangman Page a bigger star, and this match, this show, will make Adam Hangman Page a bigger star. Whether you're a fan of his or not remains to be seen. I am. I think he's got a great look. I think he cut a fantastic promo at the House of Glory show, and this is going to be the biggest match of his career. If you don't think he's prepared for August 31st, you're a fool. Adam Hangman Page, Chris Jericho says this will be his coronation. I believe everything out of Chris Jericho's mouth. The other injury, on top of Moxley, was Phoenix. Phoenix is not going to be 100% for All Out. This is guaranteed he's not going to be 100%. Dave Meltzer noted on Wrestling Observer Radio that Phoenix felt a pop in his leg when he went for a super kick. This was at a house show in Rhode Island. This is why he had to go back, and they needed to improvise the finish in that match in Rhode Island. As previously reported, Phoenix said he was okay and did compete the very next night, but he couldn't work a match that he's usually able to work. Meltzer went on to explain that Phoenix worked a very different match where he did a lot of walking and brawling without all the usual high-flying stunts. Dave Meltzer says this, and I quote, "So it's not like he's okay. He's not 100%. But I'm sure he'll be doing the match at All Out. How he'll be at All Out on August 31st? I don't know. If you know, they wanted to have a killer match. Those guys always want to, and it's a ladder match. And if you've never seen a Young Bucks ladder match, they are insane. So I'm sure that's what they wanted, and you know, we'll see what happens." Now, it's a good sign that Phoenix continued to wrestle the next night. It is a good sign. But the fact that he toned it down is quite concerning. But that could also speak to how passionate he is about pro wrestling. You know, Phoenix is the type of guy that, you know, when they're put in this type of situation, Phoenix and Pentagon, both, when they're put in this type of situation, they will never appear injured or tell anyone the severity of the injury. They will always go on and say, yeah, I'm good, and continue working the match and make their scheduled appearance or their next scheduled appearance. This is one of those instances. This is the biggest tag team match of the entire year on the biggest pro wrestling event of 2019. The only way Rey Fenix was missing this show was if he was showing up in a casket, if he was dead. And he's not missing the show. But one has to question how this match may suffer because of the limitation that he is now putting on himself just to appear, which will not be fair to his partner, and it will not be fair to do, you know, that to Pentagon because he's going to have to do more work. Who knows what Phoenix is going to be able to do. It's not fair to AEW. It's not fair to Young Bucks. It's not fair to AAA. Clearly, they're AAA Tag Team Champions. They're House of Glory Tag Team Champions. How fair is it of them for House of Glory? This is why I said, with the injury of Jon Moxley, if that didn't send red flags to Tony Khan's offices, this certainly did. As soon as they go to TNT in October, exclusive deals. They don't have to work this style anymore for anybody else. Tony Khan wants to pay you to do this for him and him only. You've worked all your life to get to this point. You don't need to continue working so hard because you're going to be able to work hard for one place and one place only. Show that passion and show that love and put all your effort, that 110% effort into AEW. Now, you don't need to do that for everybody else. So clearly, this is going to send smoke signals to AEW that they got to sign everybody to exclusive deals. If they're going to be on TV every single week, you're going to be on TV every single week for AEW and AEW only. So, again, Rey Fenix is like one of those guys, Pentagon too, that they will tell you that they're okay, but they're not 100%. I don't know how injured Rey Fenix is, but I can only imagine that he's roughly about 60-70%, possibly. But we'll see what happens. In that situation, in Chicago at All Out, Even if he's hurt, he's probably going to fucking kill himself. Because that's the type of guy Rey Fenix and Pentagon are. What are you going to do? It's the biggest tag team match of the year. You're going to go out there and half-ass it? Come on. They're going to break themselves to a point where they can't fucking walk anymore. That's how crazy this match is going to be, whether he's 100% or not. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a car crash. I hope nobody dies, because God knows what these guys got planned. But hopefully everybody walks out on their own during this ladder match for the AAA Tag Team Championships. Guys, we're going to take a little break. I got to get myself a cold beverage. I will be back with the 10-match card for All Out. We're going to go over the storylines and the preview and predictions right here on Off the Script. Got to shout out my fine friends over at Harry's, man. Harrys.com/scripts. I'm not going to go into the usual spiel, guys, but I do want to say if you use our unique link, Harrys.com/script, you guys can get yourself a $13 value trial set today. And what is included is awesome. A 5-blade razor with a lubricating strip, a razor handle where the choice of color is completely up to you, man. The navy blue, the orange, or the evergreen. Choice of color is yours. You're going to get a travel blade cover as well, and a generous 2-ounce bottle of their foaming shave gel, which soothes and hydrates. All this could be yours. Sign up today using harrys.com/script and experience what I think may be the best shave of your entire life. 10 matches comprise AEW's All Out. Some of you might be thinking, well, JD, that's a little bit too much. Well, you got to keep in mind that there is a buy-in pre-show. So they're going to have 2 matches on the pre-show and then 8 matches that round out the overall All Out main show. And everything that they're doing right now, remember, AEW is getting themselves ready for October 2nd on TNT. So there's going to be a lot of moving parts. They want a lot of talent showcased in whatever stories they're particularly going to be in for TNT. So there's going to be a lot of moving pieces here, and AEW wants to fill up their plate as much as they can before that first live show on October 2nd. Now, we're going to start with the pre-show. Private Party, my boys in Private Party, Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn, who just had their dream match with the Young Bucks at High Intensity 8 inside House of Glory, which was awesome. If that was any indication about what they're going to do on TNT, I can't wait for you guys to see it. It's going to be awesome. Private Party against Angelico and Jack Evans. This is going to be great. And this is really going to take Private Party, again, up another notch as far as what you think of them as a tag team. Now, I think Angelico and Jack Evans went against the Best Friends at Double or Nothing, and that was a great match. That showcased what AEW's tag team division is really going to do. I think that Private Party is going to get the win here. I think AEW is more invested in building up Private Party than Angelico and Jack Evans. And as far as that goes, I'm hoping that Private Party has the same type of effect on everybody that they had at Fyter Fest, because they blew everybody away. They were not at Fight for the Fallen in a wrestling capacity. They were there in the crowd watching the show as fans. But at Fyter Fest, man, in that 6-man tag with SCU, that was awesome. Absolutely awesome. So I can't... I think it was a triple threat tag team match. It was the Best Friends, it was SCU, and Private Party. They were the talk of the town coming out of Fyter Fest, man. I think the same thing's going to happen here. And the stage is theirs. I can't wait for you guys to see what Private Party could do as they ascend the ladder in AEW as far as tag teams go. I'm going with Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn. They will get the victory over Angelico and Jack Evans on the buy-in pre-show. The other pre-show match is going to be the 21-woman Casino Battle Royale. Now, I don't know who is in this thing, but I do know that they announced Big Swole. I do know they announced Ivelisse. I do know that they announced Sadie Gibbs, which I have not seen personally. I know Britt Baker's going to be in there. I know... I don't think Bea Priestley's in there. That's the thing that I'm kind of disappointed about. Bea Priestley's not going to be in this thing. I think she has other obligations that she's got to square away first. But as far as the Battle Royal goes, I don't know who is in it. So I can't really give you... I know Roddy Piper's daughter's in it as well. So as far as picking a winner, I don't know. So I'm not going to legitimately sit here and pick a winner, because I don't know everybody that's going to be in it. I guess they want to keep it a surprise. Nyla Rose is going to be at it. All the usuals that you've seen so far on this thing, or on AEW's shows so far, are going to be in it. I would assume Britt Baker wins it because Britt Baker is and has been set up as AEW's face of the women's division. And if she wins it, I would expect her to go on to win the AEW Women's Championship. That's just my guess. But stranger things have happened. Sometimes the most predictable outcome is not the one that they go with. Maybe they want to surprise everybody. Maybe they have somebody else in mind. Maybe it's somebody that we have not even thought of yet, that has not been announced for this thing. So it's going to happen on the pre-show. It's going to be a 21-woman casino battle royale, and they're going to come out in intervals. They're going to go according to the deck of cards. There's going to be spades, diamonds. There's going to be hearts and clubs. So there's going to be a one woman who's going to be a joker. It's going to be a joker. So there's going to be 5 intervals, or there's going to be 4 intervals of 5, and then that joker wild card is going to be number 21. Whoever that may be, I don't know. Obviously, that's going to be a big surprise. So we'll find out who that is. But as of right now, I'm going to be sitting here going with the safe route. I'm going with Britt Baker to win it, and I think she's going to go on to eventually become the first ever inaugural AEW Women's Champion. So that is the pre-show. That squares away the pre-show. As far as the other women's match on this show, I'm hearing, and it has not been confirmed yet, I don't think it should be, but we'll figure out what's going to happen as far as what they plan to do with the Women's Championship. There were rumors that this match is going to be a number 1 contender match. The winner of this match is going to go one-on-one with the woman who wins the Battle Royal for the Women's Championship, and that will be contested on TNT. Riho versus Hikaru Shida. I would assume that Riho wins because she's been all over their events, and she has been heavily pushed, so I would assume Riho wins this. But I don't want to sit here and say, yes, this needs to be a number 1 contenders match, because I'm not in that boat. I would like if the woman who wins the Battle Royal, or better yet, the last 2 women in the Battle Royal, fight over the championship on TNT whenever that day is. And if they want to do a number 1 contender for the Battle Royal and then a number 1 contender later on, have it be somebody else that had a strong showing in the Battle Royal and put those women in a match and then come together for a championship match later on TNT. I think it's happening on the 3rd week of TNT. I don't want Riho and Hikaru Shida battling it out over a number 1 contendership. I think it has to be 2 notable names, and I think it should be 2 women who have been in the press and have been doing the PR and have been in the spotlight for AEW as far as women's wrestling goes. Whether that's a Nyla Rose or a Britt Baker or a Kylie Ray or a fucking Aja Kong or Awesome Kong, whoever. Somebody that has been on the show in a prominent way that is, as far as the audience is concerned, very familiar with. I don't think Riho and Hikaru Shida are going to really accomplish that as far as AEW goes. I'm not saying that they can't compete for the Women's Championship, but I would rather it be 2 notable names in this instance. So if I had to choose a winner here, Riho, I'm going with Riho to win this match, and I do not think that this should be a number 1 contenders match as rumored. Meltzer talked about that, but we aren't sure, and we probably won't find out until Saturday night. Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, and Marco Stunt versus SoCal Uncensored, Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, and Scorpio Sky. I'm going with SCU. SCU at Fight for the Fallen battled the Lucha Brothers. The Lucha Brothers won that match, and then they went on to challenge the Young Bucks in a ladder match for what was the AAA Tag Team Championships. Wasn't announced then, but Alex Marvez kind of let the cat out of the bag on commentary. If you guys remember that at Fight for the Fallen. SCU fell to the Lucha Brothers. I do not think that they lose 2 shows in a row. I do think that SCU gets the victory here. And as far as Tag Team Championships go, if you're looking to crown a first ever Tag Team Champion in AEW, look no further than Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. That's it. Those are my guys. I'm going with them as far as the first ever inaugural AEW Tag Team Champions. I think that would be fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So what I think is going to happen here is SoCal Uncensored gets the victory here. They get their win back that they did not get at Fight for the Fallen. And then Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy in the Tag Team Tournament get their victory back and get some revenge on SCU in the tag team title tournament as they advance on to the whatever round that they're going on to. So I think that SCU wins here, and then Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy with Marco Stunt get Marco Stunt is going to be in their camp, but I think Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy are going to get the victory over SCU when the time comes in the tag team tournament. Marco Stunt has been, I would say, a controversial signing because he is an indie darling. I'm not a big fan of Marco Stunt. I don't really know what the appeal is about Marco Stunt. The signing of Orange Cassidy was another one that people are shitting on. I can understand people shitting on Marco Stunt, but I don't understand all the negativity surrounding Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy could wrestle, and I honestly think that Orange Cassidy is going to get over on TNT. You just got to give him a chance. Give him a shot to prove you wrong. I don't think that he's going into this going to be that lazy pro wrestler that you've seen on YouTube and that you've heard about, because it's not going to fly. How long could they do that gimmick? It's great that he's got the cool guy, prick-like gimmick, who doesn't give a shit about anything, but the guy is eventually going to come out of his shell and he's going to start wrestling. So I don't see the big negativity surrounding Orange Cassidy, but I can understand why people are upset about Marco Stunt. Marco Stunt is not really the prototypical wrestler that you're prone to seeing, and it kind of deviates away from everything that AEW wanted to do. So I can understand that, but as far as that, he's not even going to be a factor here with Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. They are not going to win this match. Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy are going to get their win back in the tag team title tournament when or if that opportunity comes. Darby Allin, Joey Janela, and Jimmy Havoc. This is a triple threat match, and this is being called the Cracker Barrel Clash, because Cracker Barrel is a sponsor of AEW and All Out. Now, our Fight for the Fallen, the team of Jimmy Havoc, Darby Allin, and Joey Janela lost to Shawn Spears, MJF, and Sammy Guevara. The three lost, and they blamed each other for their loss, and they brawled backstage, and a three-way match, a triple threat match, was made and scheduled for All Out. This is clearly pitting all of the reckless, hardcore guys against one another. It's an easy way to find a spot for them on this show, and if I had a choice here, I'm going with Darby Allin to win this thing because he didn't get his victory over Cody. They went to a time limit draw, and he had a decent showing at Fight for the Fallen, where Shawn Spears pinned him. And then Shawn Spears used that against Cody. Hey, Cody, look, I did something that you couldn't do, and that was beat your opponent at the last show, Darby Allin. So I think Darby Allin's going to get the victory here over Janela and Jimmy Havoc. Should be crazy. Should be, one of those matches where shit's going to fly. And I'm going with Darby Allin because he is the one out of all three of these guys that they have the most investment in. Cody versus Shawn Spears with Tully Blanchard. This is going to be awesome, and I can't wait to see what they have planned for this. So Cody, as you guys know, is an executive vice president for AEW, and he had his match with his brother at Double or Nothing. Dustin Rhodes, great match, very emotional. And at the end of his match at Fyter Fest with Darby Allin, Shawn Spears came out and delivered a chair shot to Cody, said that was critically shit on by everybody. Shawn Spears appeared at the end of that match, delivered a chair shot to Cody's head, and it resulted in Cody receiving 12 surgical staples. In a sit-down interview with Jim Ross, Spears explained that he thought Cody was his friend until Cody had called him a good hand. Feeling that Cody had disrespected him, that was why he attacked him. He said that Cody was a leech, dating back to when they both started in OVW in 2006. He then made a challenge for All Out, which was made official, and then got himself Tully Blanchard as a business partner. And Tully Blanchard has been doing all of the business aspects for Shawn Spears. I love the sit-down that Shawn Spears had with AEW management. Tully Blanchard was sitting right there. Cody didn't really do anything as far as the contract signing goes. He was supposed to sit down with Spears and Tully Blanchard. He came in wearing a full-on suit. He came in, opened the door to the boardroom, signed the contract, didn't even read it. And the people who were overseeing the contract signing were like, Cody, don't you want to read the contract here? He's like, I don't care. Sign it. I'll see you guys on the 31st. So I love that aspect, that Cody is so disappointed in who he thought was his friend, and Shawn Spears is all about himself. Shawn Spears is taking the comments that Cody made, and he's taking it to heart, and this is driving him to be who we see today. And I honestly think this is going to be one of the breakout matches of the entire night. Shawn Spears needs this. I was excited at first thought about this match because not only is this going to be a match between two people who know each other very well, this is going to be a breakout match for Shawn Spears to pretty much prove to WWE and prove everybody that, shit on him and did not use him, that kind of looked at him as an afterthought, as someone who was just a good hand. That's why the good hand phrase was thrown into this. Oh, you're a good hand. Shawn Spears wants to go out there and prove that he's not only a good hand, but he could be a valuable asset to AEW. And Cody has done a fantastic job at, selling everything he's been in. He's done a fantastic job of putting talent over. And this is going to be one of those instances again. Cody's going to put Shawn Spears over, and Shawn Spears is going to have the match of his life against Cody Rhodes. And it's going to be a breakout performance. He's going to prove everybody in WWE that let him go. They just let him walk. They had nothing for him, which is very difficult to believe. And now look at Shawn Spears. How do you look at Shawn Spears now and the work that he's done so far and look at that and say, well, we couldn't use that. There was nothing there. He's already proving everybody wrong. And Cody is going to bring him to that next level. Shawn Spears is going to get the big victory over Cody, and Cody is going to continue putting others first before him to build up AEW and build the stars that this company legitimately needs. I'm going with Shawn Spears, and I think it's going to be a great match. Lucha Brothers, Pentagon, and Phoenix versus the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson. This is going to be a ladder match for the AAA World Tag Team Championships with Rey Fenix, which we just talked about a couple of moments ago. Not 100%. Pentagon, we don't know how he's feeling. These are two of the hardest working guys in the business. Lucha Brothers versus the Young Bucks, AAA World Tag Team Championships. I don't see the Young Bucks winning this match. I think this is going to be a spectacle. This is exactly what is, I would say, the match that everybody's going to be talking about because of the death-defying acts that we're going to see here. But I don't see any sense for the Young Bucks to win this match. The Lucha Brothers are going to remain in AAA as the AAA Tag Team Champions. I don't see the Young Bucks and having them be the AAA Tag Team Championships make any sense here. They're going to go for the AEW Tag Team Championships, but the Young Bucks just lost those AAA Tag Team Championships back to the Lucha Brothers. I don't see them winning the titles again from the Lucha Brothers. It's the Lucha Brothers match. They're going to win this thing, and then they're going to eventually drop the AAA Tag Team titles to whomever at whatever time they have to. But this is going to be one of the matches of the evening that a lot of people are going to be talking about. I'm going with the Lucha Brothers here to get the victory over the Young Bucks. And being that, we have a lot of EVPs working this show, you can't really have all the EVPs win. You got to, kind of go out there and spread the wealth. Kenny Omega is more than likely going to win his match against PAC. You can't have Omega, Cody, and the Bucks all win their matches. Cody is going to put over Shawn Spears. The Bucks are going to put over the Lucha Brothers. And Omega is going to win his match against PAC. So I think that's a nice even balance as far as the EVPs and what they're doing individually in their matches here at All Out. Lucha Brothers are going to win. I expect a barn burner. No matter how Rey Fenix is feeling, I think they're going to go out there and kill it. And if anything, as far as history is to be on anybody's mind, the Young Bucks in a ladder match, expect craziness and expect brutality, especially with Pentagon in this thing. It's going to be crazy. I'm going with the Lucha Brothers over the Young Bucks to retain the AAA Tag Team Championships. We got the Best Friends, Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta versus the Dark Order, Evil Uno and Stu Grayson. I want to say the Best Friends. But I think as far as the Dark Order goes, AEW has put a lot of effort and a lot of stock into, just showcasing the Dark Order. They had a great showing at Fight for the Fallen. They won that triple threat tag team match, and I think their luck is going to continue at AEW's All Out. I'm going with the Dark Order over the Best Friends, and the winner of this match will receive a first-round bye in the AEW Tag Team Championship Tournament. I'm going with the Dark Order, and I think this is going to be a great match. And tag team wrestling, man, I'm gonna tell you right now, You guys know how I feel about WWE's tag team situation. AEW is going to have no difficulty at all showing how tag team wrestling is still cool and still relevant. And AEW is going to show WWE how tag team wrestling is done. This is one of 3 matches on this show. 4 matches, really, with the 6-man tag. But standard 2-on-2. You got Private Party and Angelico Jack Evans. You got the Lucha Brothers and the Young Bucks, which is going to be a fucking crazy match in itself. And then the Best Friends versus the Dark Order. You got 3 standard 2-on-2 tag team matches. AEW is going to show the world why their tag team division is the best in pro wrestling. And we don't know where LAX is going to end up. They may end up showing up on this show. They may actually reveal that they signed with AEW on this show. We don't know. We don't know. I would hope. And that would solidify them being the best tag team division in all of wrestling. Period. Which they are right now. That would only make them even greater. I'm going with the Dark Order. Evil Uno and Stu Grayson are going to have a great match with the Best Friends, and they're going to advance and get a first-round bye in the AEW Tag Team Championship Tournament, which will conclude on TNT. PAC versus Omega. This is pretty predictable. We went over Jon Moxley and him being out with a staph infection. I think this is going to work in AEW's favor. Omega and Moxley could main event any one of those TNT shows that they've already announced. PAC, I hope, stays with AEW. I hope he has a future with AEW. Omega had a rough go a little bit, with the Moxley situation and him being beaten up after Double or Nothing. He had a couple of 6-man tags. He had a great match at the Fight for the Fallen show with Chima, I think it's Chima. I completely forget how to pronounce his name, but it was a great match nonetheless. He got a victory over that in that match at that show. So I'm expecting him to continue his momentum here against PAC. This may be the match of the night. I fully expect this to be the match of the night. Going with Kenny Omega, One Winged Angel. PAC is going to fall in defeat. And like I said, Omega more than likely is going to throw his name into the hat as far as contention for the AEW Championship. And then PAC, I hope, stays on with AEW because I think him and AEW is a perfect pairing. I really do. And then Adam Hangman Page versus Chris Jericho. You guys know what I think about this. If you've been listening to anything that I've done over the past couple of months, Chris Jericho winning the AEW Championship is best for business. Having Chris Jericho show up on that first show, a notable name, a notable face, a Hall of Famer, one of the greatest to ever step foot in this ring, on TNT, which he was a part of all those many, many, many years ago. Having him show up on TNT as the first ever AEW World Champion, that makes sense to me. That is simple. That's Wrestling 101. Give the title to a notable name as you make your debut on cable TV, your first time ever on television. Chris Jericho representing your brand as World Champion? Yes. Adam Hangman Page is 26 years old. 25, 26 years old. He will have a plethora of opportunities at the World Championship. This is not going to be his only showdown for the World Championship. It's not going to be his only rodeo for the World Championship. Chris Jericho, the noble name on TNT, makes sense. Plus, again, it's Wrestling 101. The heel, in this case, is the best option, as the babyface can chase, because it's completely different. You don't want a babyface winning the championship and having the heel chase. You want to see the babyface chase the heel and then eventually overcome the heel and become the champion. That is what's going to happen. Chris Jericho is going to win the World Championship. However he does it, I don't know. I hope it's not by the Judas effect, because I think that move is just complete garbage. Nobody wants to see that. Have him tap out, have him do the Lion Tamer, whatever. Code breaker, pin him. Gotta be impactful. Gotta be epic. Chris Jericho's going to win the AEW World Championship, and who knows what's going to happen at the end of the show. Whether we get a big surprise, whether we get something that leads us into TNT on October 2nd, whether that's Punk, whether that's somebody else, I don't know. But Cody Rhodes came out in a statement saying that AEW's roster has only been announced 40%. 40% of the roster has only been announced, with 60% remaining to be announced. Don't know what that means. We'll find out, hopefully, as the months and weeks go on with this show and then on into TNT. I'm expecting this show to be great. MJF is not on this show, which is unreal. Sammy Guevara is not on this show. Sonny Kiss is not on this show. Nowhere did you see or hear about the Librarians. So hopefully this is all business, straight 10 matches, blow away everybody. I can't wait to see what they do on Saturday night. It's going to be one of the best, most important shows of the year, and this is going to be a huge spotlight for what they do on TNT. I'm excited. I'll be there with Ticket Drew. We'll be in the suite. I'll be mingling with you guys with a couple cold beverages. Hopefully I get the review up as the show goes off the air. I got some plans to record after the show, so we'll see what happens, man. Thank you guys so very much for joining me on this AEW All Out preview and predictions podcast. If you guys enjoy this, please hit that thumbs up. I'll see you all in Chicago, man. I'm in Chicago as you guys are watching this now. I'll probably be mingling at Starcast, but I wanted to get this up for you guys early so you have it before Saturday night. And the Sears Center blowing the roof off that joint for AEW's All Out. Hit that thumbs up. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. That's both on Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below for all coverage of Monday Night Raw, SmackDown Live, NXT, Off the Script every single weekend, and AEW starting Wednesdays on TNT. And if you guys want to check out my sponsors, man, audibletrial.com/offthescript and harrys.com/script for your free audio book, 30 days of Audible service, and a $13 value trial set for Harry's. And if you missed any of the content on the channel this week, you guys can certainly check all that stuff out down in the comments, as I pinned everything you need in the comment section at the very top. Thank you guys so very much. Hopefully I'll see you in Chicago at Starcast and at All Out. Until then, thank you guys so much for all your support. I'll see you Saturday night for AEW's All Out with the official review and results podcast right here on the channel. Take care.